Stop and listen carefully, because this message is not ordinary, and it did not reach you by accident. There are moments when heaven speaks loudly through storms, signs, and sudden turns. But there are also moments when God allows a message to arrive like a whisper, soft enough to be missed by the distracted, yet powerful enough to change everything for the one who is truly listening. And right now, Archangel Michael says that a hidden message from heaven is about to reach your heart. Not just your mind, your heart. The place where fear has been lodged, where questions have been collecting, where hope has been trying to survive in silence. If you have felt like something is about to shift, but you cannot name it, if you have sensed that there is more happening than what meets the eye, then stay with this message, because what you are about to hear is connected to a divine timing that has been moving in secret. Type Amen if you know heaven sees you. There is something deeply personal about the way God communicates with you. It is not always dramatic at first. Sometimes it arrives as a repeated thought, a verse you cannot forget, a name that keeps coming back, or a strange quiet in the middle of chaos. You may have dismissed these moments as coincidence, but they were never random. They were clues. Heaven has been arranging pieces around you, and even while you were wondering whether God had gone silent, He was preparing a message that would arrive at the exact right moment. Michael says, do not ignore this part, because the very thing you thought was just in your imagination may have been heaven gently drawing your attention toward the path ahead. There is a reason certain memories have surfaced again. There is a reason a door you assumed was closed keeps returning to your thoughts. There is more happening than you realize. Comment I believe if you can sense God moving even before you fully understand it. That hidden message has been concealed for a reason, and that reason matters. Not every truth is given at once, because some revelations are too sacred to be received in the middle of confusion. Heaven protects certain words until your spirit is ready to hold them. You may have been in a season where noise was everywhere, where opinions were loud, where disappointment made discernment feel difficult, and where the enemy used emotional fatigue to blur what God was saying. But now the atmosphere is changing. A light is beginning to touch the edges of what was hidden. Slowly, quietly, but unmistakably, the sealed scroll is opening. You may not see the entire message yet, but the first line has already begun to appear. This is why your heart has felt restless. This is why the old uncertainty no longer fits the way it used to. A heavenly communication is moving toward you, and when it lands, it will not simply inform you. It will strengthen you. Type faith if you are ready to receive what God has been holding for you. Keep reading carefully, because the hidden message is tied to something you nearly overlooked. Heaven often hides miracles inside ordinary moments. A conversation that seemed small, a delay that felt unnecessary, a closed door that left you disappointed, a prayer you whispered without expectation because you had prayed it so many times before. Yet, in the record of heaven, none of those moments were wasted. Michael says that what looked insignificant was actually part of the route the message had to travel to reach your heart without being intercepted by doubt. There has been spiritual interference trying to keep you distracted from recognizing the pattern. That is why some days you felt unusually tired, unusually confused, or unusually pulled in different directions. But the message was never lost. It has been guarded. And now, at the appointed hour, the veil begins to lift. Do not skip this. Something unexpected is approaching, and it carries both comfort and instruction. Type protected if you know God has kept you when you did not even realize it. There is another truth being revealed here, and you need to stay with it. The message from heaven is not only about encouragement, it is also about direction. Sometimes the heart must hear before the mind can understand. Sometimes God places a burden of holy knowing deep inside you before He explains it clearly. That is why you have felt drawn toward a decision you cannot fully explain, or why certain places, people, and paths no longer carry the same weight they once did. Heaven has been shifting your internal compass. A hidden assignment is being activated, and the message preparing to reach your heart may confirm what your spirit has already been sensing in fragments. There is a reason the same theme keeps returning in your thoughts. There is a reason your prayers have changed. There is a reason you cannot settle into the old version of your life. Before long, the message will clarify what has felt scattered. Comment ready if you're standing at the edge of something new. Listen closely, because the voice of heaven is often gentle where the enemy is loud. The opposition against you has not always come in obvious forms. Sometimes it arrived as distraction, sometimes as emotional noise, sometimes as self-doubt that made you question whether you were even hearing God correctly. But Michael says the messenger is already near. A holy signal is moving through the places where confusion once lived. What once felt like static is beginning to turn into clarity, and that clarity will not just soothe you, it will separate truth from fear. You will recognize it because it will bring peace, not pressure. It will align with the deepest part of you that has been hungry for confirmation. It will feel like light entering a room you thought had been sealed too long. Do not ignore this message, because the very thing that has been delayed is now nearing its release. Type 333 if you know heaven is aligning things behind the scenes. Before we continue, I feel led to share something with you. Over the years, thousands of people have reached out asking for powerful prayers they could pray during difficult seasons of life. That's why I put together a collection of some of the most powerful faith-building prayers I know. These prayers have helped people find peace during anxiety, strength during hardship, and hope when they felt like giving up. The best part is that I decided to make it completely free. If you would like a copy, simply check the link in the description and I'll send it to you. Do not wait until another difficult season arrives. Take it now while it's available and keep it close for the days ahead. Now there is something else you need to know. There has been a hidden blessing inside your waiting season, and this is where many people miss the mystery. Waiting can feel empty when you are only looking at what has not happened yet. But heaven never wastes a season of silence. In the quiet, God was building discernment. In the delay, He was strengthening endurance. In the unanswered prayer, He was protecting you from a premature yes. And in the disappointment, He was removing your dependence on anything that could not carry you into your true destiny. The message coming to your heart is carrying the explanation you have been seeking, but it is also carrying peace for the path you already walked. Some of the pain you endured was not punishment, it was preparation. Some of the closed chapters were not rejection, they were redirection. And some of the doors that never opened were never meant to define you. The next revelation changes everything because it shows you that heaven was working even in the places that felt empty. Comment "God is working" if you are beginning to see the hand of God in what looked like delay. Michael says there is a conversation happening behind the scenes. You cannot hear it with natural ears, but its effects are already touching your life. Decisions have been made in spiritual places that will soon show up in visible ways. This is why a pathway that once seemed blocked is beginning to loosen. This is why an answer you stopped expecting is moving closer than you think. This is why something in your spirit keeps telling you not to give up now. Heaven is preparing to communicate something deeply personal, and it has been taking shape in the unseen long before it reached your awareness. You may soon notice that a person reaches out, that an old connection returns with unexpected significance, or that a situation you thought was finished begins to speak again. Do not rush to label it. Keep watching. Keep listening. The message has layers, and the first layer is simply this: you were not forgotten. Type 1 receive if you are ready to welcome what God has preserved for you. There is also a warning woven into this word, and you must not miss it. When heaven begins to speak more clearly, the noise often intensifies for a moment. Not because darkness is winning, but because distraction knows its time is short. You may notice more mental clutter, more fatigue, more sudden temptation to doubt what God has shown you. This is not random, it is resistance. The message that is about to reach your heart matters too much to be received casually, so the enemy has tried to keep your attention elsewhere. But Michael stands over what has been assigned to you, and what is protected by heaven cannot be stolen by confusion. Your assignment is still alive. Your purpose is still intact. Your future is still unfolding. Stay until the end of this word, because the softest messages from heaven often carry the greatest power. Type "Yes, Lord" if you choose clarity over confusion. Think about the recurring moments you could not explain, the verse that kept returning, the song that played at the exact right time, the unexpected pause in your day when everything went quiet inside you, the person who spoke one sentence that stayed with you for days. These were not accidents. They were fragments of a message, pieces of a holy pattern that was waiting for the right moment to be understood. Heaven sometimes speaks in a trail of breadcrumbs before it reveals the whole path, and the reason it felt hidden is because the meaning was not for everyone around you. It was for your spirit. It was for the exact place in you that still believed, even when hope was trembling. Michael says that the heart is about to recognize what the mind has been trying to calculate. That recognition will bring relief. It will also bring confirmation that you were guided far more carefully than you realized. Comment "Blessed" if you know God has been leaving traces of His care everywhere. A shift is approaching, and with it comes a new spiritual sensitivity. You will begin to notice what used to pass unnoticed, the way God redirects your thoughts, the way peace arrives after you release control, the way a closed gate no longer feels like an ending, but like protection from a road that could have drained you. This is part of the hidden message too. Heaven is teaching you how to hear again, not just to hear words, but to recognize tone, timing, and spiritual atmosphere. Some messages arrive as conviction, some as comfort, and some as a sudden inner knowing that changes your next step. You do not need to force it. You only need to remain open. The revelation is coming closer, and when it reaches you, it will fit. It will not confuse the part of you that has been waiting in prayer. It will meet that place precisely. Type 1 "Trust God" if you are ready to let heaven speak in its own way. There is something else you need to know before the message fully lands. Heaven is not only revealing what is coming. Heaven is also revealing who you are becoming. The hidden message is inseparable from your transformation. You thought you were only waiting for an answer, but God was waiting to shape the vessel that would carry it. This is why you have felt stretched. This is why old comforts no longer satisfy. This is why certain relationships, habits, and mental patterns no longer fit your life. You are not losing yourself. You are being refined for a season that requires more wisdom, more courage, and more peace than before. The message reaching your heart will awaken confidence that was buried under exhaustion. It will remind you that your life is not stuck in the wilderness forever. There is a horizon ahead, and the road toward it is already being lit. Before the season ends, you will understand why the shaping was necessary. Comment "Still standing" if you are still here by God's grace. Many people watching this message have been carrying burdens they never talk about. If that sounds like you, I want to give you something special. I created a free prayer guide filled with powerful prayers for protection, breakthrough, peace, healing, and strength. Thousands of believers have already downloaded it and shared how much it encouraged them during difficult moments. There is absolutely no cost. I simply wanted to place this resource into the hands of people who need it most. If you feel led, go to the description and claim your free copy before continuing. One prayer prayed at the right moment can change more than you realize. Now listen carefully, because the next part of this message is important. Michael says a gate is opening in a quiet place, not in the loud place everyone can see, but in the hidden chamber where you have been praying, waiting, and wondering if anyone noticed. Heaven always honors what is done in secret. There are prayers spoken in tears that never leave the room, but they rise all the way to the throne. There are promises planted in the dark that bloom only when the timing is right. You may soon find that the thing you thought required force begins to unfold through favor instead. That is part of the hidden message. Some breakthroughs do not crash in like thunder. They come like dawn. They enter softly, but they change everything they touch. And once they begin, you will wonder how you ever lived under the old shadow. Keep reading because this is where the atmosphere starts to change in your favor. Type 777 if you believe heaven is marking this moment with divine completion. You are being asked to trust what is forming before you can fully see it. That is where faith becomes real, not when everything is visible, but when the heart chooses to stand still long enough for God's voice to become clearer than fear. The hidden message from heaven may come through a person, through a scripture, through a sudden peace, or through a closed door turning into a different kind of invitation. But however it arrives, it will carry unmistakable weight. It will make you feel as though God has been listening to every unspoken prayer, including the ones you were too tired to say out loud. There is tenderness in this moment, but also authority. Heaven is not guessing about your future. Heaven is unveiling it. And when the unveiling begins, what seemed delayed will make sense. What seemed hidden will become holy proof that God was present the entire time. Type Amen if you trust that your breakthrough is not late. Now the message grows more personal, because this is where heaven touches the wound. There has been a place in your heart where disappointment settled quietly. Maybe it came from a betrayal, a rejection, a silence that lasted too long, or an outcome that did not match the hope you carried. That wound has influenced how you hear everything else. It has made you cautious. It has made you question whether new promises can really be trusted. But the messenger from heaven is coming not to rush that pain, but to heal it. The hidden message includes reassurance that the old hurt does not define the new season. You are not being led into another cycle of loss. You are being led into a deeper understanding of how faithfully God has parted your future. Something sacred is being restored in you, and soon you will realize that the message was not only about where you are going. It was also about making your heart safe enough to arrive there. Comment I believe if healing is beginning to touch the deepest places. There is a prophetic clue you need to hold on to. A name, a place, or a specific memory from your past may return with new meaning very soon. Do not dismiss it when it comes. Heaven often reconnects one thread to another at the exact moment clarity is needed. The connection may seem small at first, but it will point toward a larger truth. Perhaps it will be a conversation that confirms a decision you had already sensed. Perhaps it will be a reminder that what was buried is not dead. Perhaps it will expose a delay that was actually divine protection. Whatever form it takes, it will arrive in a way that feels unmistakably timed. That is how you will know the hidden message is real. It will not flatter your fear. It will anchor your spirit. It will speak into the question you have not been able to answer. And when it does, your heart will recognize the voice of heaven. Type chosen if you know God has marked you for purpose. Do not let the noise around you become louder than the whisper within you. This is a crucial moment because the heart can only receive what the spirit is willing to protect. If you keep surrendering your attention to panic, comparison, or the opinions of others, you may miss the gentle precision of what God is saying. But if you slow down, breathe, and remain open, the message will find you. It is already moving. The angelic messengers have been carrying what you need, and there is no force strong enough to stop a word that has been sealed by heaven. you may soon feel an unusual calm, where anxiety used to live. That calm is not emptiness. It is evidence. It is the beginning of understanding. Something is nearing completion behind the curtain, and before you see the full result, you will feel the peace of God settle like a covering over your thoughts. Type protected if you sense that heaven is surrounding you even now. Here is the final turning point. The hidden message is not only reaching your heart for comfort, but for commissioning. There is a purpose attached to the peace. Once you receive what heaven has been preparing, you will move differently. You will pray differently. You will choose differently. You will stop agreeing with the voices that told you your life was too delayed, too damaged, or too ordinary for God to use. That lie is breaking now. A new confidence is rising, and it is not rooted in self, but in divine calling. You were never meant to wander aimlessly through this season. You were being positioned. The messenger is coming because the next chapter requires your awareness. Before long, you will understand why the delay ended exactly when it did, why the burden lifted when it did, and why this word found you now. Stay until the end, because this is where the heart finally receives what it has been waiting for. Comment, "My time is coming," if you are ready for your appointed hour. So receive this with reverence and peace. Heaven has not been silent. The message was hidden, not withheld in cruelty, but preserved in wisdom. It was waiting for the moment when your heart would be ready to hear without fear and believe without collapsing under uncertainty. That moment is near. The sealed scroll is opening. The gentle light is already on your path. The gate in the quiet place is moving, and the thing you have prayed about in tears is closer than it seemed. Hold on a little longer. The revelation is approaching, and it will bring both clarity and comfort. You are seen, you are guided, you are protected, and what heaven is sending to your heart will remind you that God has been speaking all along. Type 1, receive, and let your spirit agree with the message of heaven. Before you leave, remember that my free prayer collection is waiting for you in the description below. Thousands of people have already downloaded it and used these prayers during seasons of anxiety, uncertainty, spiritual battles, and breakthrough. I made it completely free because I want every believer to have access to powerful prayers when they need them most. If this message encouraged you today, make sure you claim your free copy before you go. And if this message spoke to your heart, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs encouragement, and leave your prayer request in the comments so this community can stand with you in faith. May God bless you, strengthen you, and guide every step ahead.